I think for most people in the world, their needs as children were considered a nuisance or ignored, especially emotional needs. And just so you know, those of you who feel this way and you don't have children, it's an extreme act of courage and generosity to raise a child. They are so needy, very, very needy. So, to some extent, I think every child is going to feel some hurt in their childhood from their parents and even from their playmates or their teachers. That's just going to happen. What I'm talking about here is that you grew up feeling that having needs and having feelings was a burden to your parents, that if you had them, you would be rejected, or your needs or feelings were ignored. It's even more confusing when your parents love you. Like, this is what love feels like. My parents love me. They give me hugs, they sew clothes for me. They teach me how to read. They give me good food and tell me why. They're home. But they are uncomfortable with their emotions. They don't know how to be with their own emotions. So, how can they be with mine? Emotions are messy, they're overwhelming. Have you ever noticed when someone tells you how they feel? If it's if they're crying, you're like, oh, you're fine, don't cry, you're fine. You're trying to make them stop crying. You don't want them to feel like it's a natural response that we do. Or if someone's really angry or they're very upset with you, you don't want to hear it. You start yelling at them because you don't want to hear it. We get overwhelmed by other people's emotions, even our children's emotions. And the problem is the child learns not to even show emotions or to not even have emotions. Now, in some cases, children are actually abused, which is another level, but I'm just talking about in general homes where there's no alcoholism or anything like that, no mental abuse, no alcoholism. It's just in your everyday home, most people's homes. Your parents could be busy, distracted, going through their own pain if their marriage is unhappy, working a lot of hours, being too tired to be there for you, or just not in tune with their own emotions. The majority of people walking around in the world have a huge sign on their head that we can't read that says, I'm wounded, I'm emotionally unavailable. And that's why relationships can be so painful, so frustrating, and so lonely. We have to learn how to be with our own emotions and share them, and be with other people who can be with their own emotions and share them. Else, relationships are just a source of pain. So, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm working on my own stuff here. And one thing I've been doing and practicing is sharing with people how I feel and what I need, and treating them as if they're not going to reject me. And so far, no one has rejected me for sharing how I feel. That doesn't mean they give me what I need. And then that's an indicator to me that this is not a person I want in my life. I can't, that's not a person I want in my life. So, what does it look like when I tell you how I feel and what I need? I gave you an example the other day, and that's when I told this person who was kind of pulling back, this person that I felt traumatized by. I said, I was trying to let this person know that I needed more, that what helped me was to have like more consistency. In a way, I was going to end it already because I kind of believe in like you showing me who you are. At the same time, people don't always know what we like. We have to get practice revealing who we are. So if a guy texts me, hey, beautiful, and I don't like beautiful, instead of going off on him or unmatching him, I can just say, I like being called by my real name. Um, I like being called by my name. That's my name, or something like that. Or saying something to this person like, being in uncertainty and ambiguity is hard for me. It helps me if I know when our next date is. Now, some person that I'm hooking up with might feel really like, whoa, really, their avoidance stuff comes up. They're like, whoa, that's like a lot. Good, next. Okay, that's what I want to know. That's how you avoid getting into these problematic relationships. But someone might just say, yeah, like this guy. Yeah, I can do that. And then he didn't. He broke his agreement, he broke his word. He was not at that same level of honesty, self reflection, and reliability. And we absolutely have to be honest, self reflective, and reliable in all of our relationships, even hookup relationships. So just practice with everyone. Or saying something like, I'm curious how you felt about that. Or this is something that's important to me. Is this, how do you feel about that? Or I felt so moved and inspired by what you've done to get through to this place in your life. I would like to hear more. Or I would like to get to know you. Or, I'm afraid to tell you this. I'm afraid you will abandon me. I've been looking at some other men and finding them very attractive, and I'm only sharing this with you because I want you to know me and I don't want us to have secrets from each other. And I'm afraid that keeping secrets will make us further apart. How do you feel about that? I don't know. I'm just not making stuff up. Like, instead of like, I can't say this, I will never say this, because now you've got two people who are just like closed off. There's no intimacy, there's no vulnerability at all. So you might as well just be wearing masks. So that's what I'm talking about. And that these things are hardest to do when you're really worried about losing someone. And now just think about all the pain that you're bringing up by not sharing yourself, or thinking, I'm not sharing that. You're basically saying, my emotions don't matter, my needs don't matter. If I share who I am, you will leave me, so I have to be a small version of myself to keep you. And now I'm living in fear, and I'm not living in love, and I'm not living in empowerment. We have to be willing to have people leave. We have to risk that, not by retaliating, punishing, or abusing them, rather by sharing who we are. Who we are. I want to share who I am with you. I want to share who I am with you. That's where things start to happen. I've been afraid to tell you, and now I will say, if you've had an affair, I'm not going to say you should go out and tell the person, because are you using that person to relieve your guilt? Like, is this something the person can handle? I'm not saying share everything, because we have to have boundaries, containment boundaries. A containment boundary means that what comes out of me, I'm aware. I take responsibility for what I say and do, because I have empathy for how it lands with you. So, and at some level, I have to be able to trust that you can handle it. On some level, I have to be able to trust that you can handle it. Honey, I've noticed I've lost attraction for you. Some way you have to be able to show it. If you've lost attraction to your partner because they've gained weight, or you're feeling resentful because they're working a lot, or you're feeling jealous, or whatever, there has to be a way that you share that vulnerably without making them responsible for that. I love you so much. I get so turned on by women who take care of themselves. That helps me stay more turned on. And I notice that I don't know if you say you statements, you haven't been going to the gym as much. And I notice that I don't feel as attracted to you, as you've lost interest in taking care of yourself and not being as happy. And I'm worried that we're going to grow apart. Like, I want us to stay close and connected. I want us to stay turned on. I want us to each take care of our own lives so that we can have a more powerful partnership. How does that land for you? What do you feel? What do you want? What's going on with you? I care about you. Something like that. I'm making stuff up. And it's like doesn't have to be perfect. So it's about taking responsibility and starting to live as if our emotions matter, treating other people as if they're interested, as if they are interested in our emotions. And if they're not, why are you with them?